Let me tell you my story. I grew up with hugs from a man, not a father.
You shouldn't wear a bra because it's bad for your breasts. Why don't you walk naked in front of your father? I have the right to see you grow up.
As if that wasn't enough, I was taken to a motel. Unlike those in North America, in Brazil, are spaces for adults to have sexual experiences, but unfortunately of easy access for minors to be taken. I was touched inappropriately, among other sexual abuse. Yeah, I think that's more than enough for you to understand what I went through, but the abuse didn't stop there. When I confided everything to my mother, both silenced me. As leaders of a spiritual center, they did everything in their power to prevent any scandal, including the spiritual consultations in a dark room that I was brought to from the ages of 5 to 19 years old. There, my mom claimed to incorporate the spirit of a man, and so I heard that negative spirits influenced my father, but that he had a futuristic mind. And so the idea came up that I would leave the country to study English. That way, they could keep me away and silent.
Poderia ter escândalo e destruído o século.
Como é que a senhora permitiu ele falar o que falou numa reunião com tanta gente, mãe?
Porque de alguma forma ele expõe também.
Por que me expõe?
Porque você tinha uma idade de dizer não quero, não faço, não vou. Eu pensava que ele estava arrependido, minha filha.
In 2021, my mom passed away, and that's when I returned to Brazil. Eventually, on November 4th of this year, I reported my father and what happened next. Here's a lawyer's explanation regarding my police report.
Until 2008, there were two crimes. Article 213, which dealt with engaging in carnal intercourse, that is, the act of sexual penetration or attempted penetration, and Article 214, which was the adverse sexual act. The penalty for both was the same, up to 10 years. In 2009, these two articles were unified into Article 213, and Article 214 ceased to exist, which was the offense at the time. So it is what is called in criminal law abolitio criminis. Therefore, since there was no penetration, the crime has been dismissed, as the crime is no longer present in the legal penal world.
The Bill 12,650, 2012, known as the Johanna Moreno Law in Brazil, establishes that the statute of limitations for sexual abuse against children and adolescents is counted from the date the victim turns 18 years old. This law came into effect on May 18, 2012, on the National Day Against Sexual Abuse and Exploitation of Children and Adolescents. Since 2012, victims of abuse in Brazil have gained more time to report and initiate criminal proceedings against their abusers, with the statute of limitations extended to 20 years. That being said, if a 5-year-old child experiences abuse, they will have until the age of 38 to report the abuser.
However, this extension does not apply to sexual abuse that happened before 2012, as the law does not have a retroactive effect. In other words, abuses committed before this period, which do not involve penetration and were reported after 2012, are at significant risk of being time-barred, and the abuser can no longer be punished, including the case of Joana Maranhão herself and mine, which also have been dismissed because of the statute of limitations.
Additionally, despite the proven evidence of sexual abuse, the perpetrator turned 70 years old, and according to current Brazilian law, when someone reaches the age of 70, the statute limitation period for their offenses is halved. The report is not always immediate because it may take time for those who have been through it to process what they experienced.
Often, the conditions are not always favorable for the report to occur, with the danger still looming inside or outside the victim's home.
And the statute of limitations continues to favor impunity.
How many crimes will be dismissed, and when will justice truly live up to its name? Our story is not an isolated case. That's why we will continue to fight to prevent abuse and sexual exploitation and for sexual education.